Good afternoon. It is 2:30 on a Thursday afternoon on my wild card day. It's my third day off in a row from the Union Street Diner. My body is very, very sore today from moving boxes of books and heavy furniture. I know a lot of people right now, it's move out weekend at OU, so the students are all moving. So a lot of people are moving. You know, we're getting things moving. It's springtime. The weather's cooperating. 70 degrees. Who doesn't want to be outside when it's 70 degrees? To me, it's like the ultimate perfect temperature. 72 degrees. If it's 72 degrees, I figured that out as a child. I remember watching the thermometer. And I knew that the temperature had something to do with when we were allowed to go swimming. Or when, not even allowed, but when were we able to go swimming? Because going swimming was the best memories of my childhood, was going swimming. Ironically, though, I never learned how to swim. I always felt that I could potentially drown if I got into water over my head because I never did learn the basic how to. And what has always stopped me was being able to hold my breath underwater. No matter what I would do, I would get it up into my nose and start choking and feeling like I was drowning. So I could never. My biggest fear beyond being seen in a bathing suit, that was really my number one fear of going swimming, was how I looked in a bathing suit. And that started from the very first time we went out to Lake Snowden, and I worried, oh no, is Derek Kermeans going to be there? Is someone from school going to be there? They're going to see me in my bathing suit? How embarrassing. They're going to laugh at me, you know. So I would always secretly hope that no one I knew from school was swimming there. We drove to Albany to swim, which at that time was about almost an hour. It took almost an hour to get to the lake. But it was a big deal. Like, we would get up early, and my dad made sure to work us either in the garden or on the lawn or picking berries. And we were doing something on Saturday morning. That was our day to really, really work hard, because we weren't permitted to work on Sunday because it was a Sabbath day. So it's interesting how I've kind of kept that pattern as a waitress, you know, the busy weekends and then rest on, although I don't rest on Sunday, I rest more on Monday. But anyway, that's another video. I wanted to do a video today because a thought came to me while I was doing my hair. It's about the word degrade. Degrade. If you put a D before something, degrade, I thought of how that means taking away a grade. It's almost like, you know, you may have earned an A, but now that you've been degraded, you're down to a C. So it's like a lowering. It's taking away of something you've earned. And I thought of self-talk and how someone very close to me, which I won't indulge their name for privacy, told me that they realized that the meanest person they ever contacted with was themselves. And I said, yes, I've had that realization too, that the amount of self-harm and self-abuse that goes on silently up here can do every bit as much damage, and if someone else does it, and sometimes more. And the same with compliments. You know, someone else can give you a compliment and say, oh, that's amazing, you did this such a good job. But if you're a very self-critical person, you would say, oh, no, didn't you notice? Like, I missed this part over here. There's a flaw right there. And, you know, they don't see it because they're just seeing, they're going from zero to finish. Like, wow, where did that come from? They don't see how many times I had to erase or change, or I'm thinking, you know, about my drawings, but also my cakes. And now I even apply to anything, to life, to my life in general, you know. And that's something I forget where I was listening to something online about the problem with social media and how we're seeing these snapshots in time. Often they're filtered to, you know, erase all these little lines can just be blurred out. Makeup does that too a little bit, but there's ways to kind of blur the lines and and give off a more polished, perfect appearance where the flaws aren't seen. But it doesn't mean the flaws aren't there. My teacher likes to say we're all flawsome, and I like that too. We're full of flaws, but we're the ones that tend to see them the most. And I think I learned from an early age that it was good to be self-critical, because it was worse to be conceited or too full of yourself. That was always the message that I got, is don't be too full of yourself, don't be vain. Looking in the mirror was almost something that was seen as not maybe dangerous is a little bit too much of a word, but yeah, no, it's not. That it was dangerous to look in the mirror and like what you saw, that it would lead to vanity and misery. And I understand what I was being taught. It was more of to be leery of the dangers of seeking perfection. Because you can look in the mirror and see a wrinkle and then spend the next however many hours of your life obsessing about that and seeing how the rest of your face is ruined now because of this little wrinkle. And ironically, I also broke my cell phone today. I took it out to the patio and set it on my chair and leaned to one side, and I heard a clunk, and I didn't even think anything about it. I dropped my cell phone a lot. It has a good case on it, a good protective case, but it hit that concrete. Concrete, you don't come back from concrete. When you hit the concrete, it's different than any other surface. It's not forgiving. The floors in my home, yes, they're hard, but they're not hard enough to crack a cell phone, because I've dropped my cell phone on the floor many, many times. The 2 times that I have cracked my cell phone screen were on cement, pavement, concrete. And I'm thinking now of when I was a teenager and trying to toughen up doing push-ups. I used to do them on concrete, and I would do this thing where I would put my hands up and then fall, like be from standing position. You know how the Army sergeant would say, drop and give me 50? And I would literally stand up here and drop, fall to the ground into a plank, which is, I didn't know that term then, but I'd fall into a plank and then start doing push-ups. And I wanted to build up to being able to do it on pavement, which I had access to that in Columbus when I would visit my cousin in the summer. So it was a chance to see how tough I was. I just remember wanting to toughen up and, build my strength. I had a cousin that could do back springs and the splits and cartwheels and go into a back bend and kick her foot and go stand right back up. I mean, she was the most gymnastic person I ever knew in my whole life, and her body is suffering now for that. She's had multiple surgeries in her shoulders and elbows and knees, and it's like, oh my goodness, this was I used to tell myself, if only my body could do that. Now I'm happy to get into some flexible yoga poses that take sometimes, it's like moving in slow motion, it's moving in slow motion. I'm doing it right now, stretching that lower muscle, and my lower back is what I really hurt moving that dresser. I had help. I had a big strong ox. I call him my strong ox. Babe the blue ox, like on Paul Bunyan's ox. That's what Darren reminds me of. He's my big strong ox. He just picked up that bookcase like it was nothing. Just picked it up with one hand, a 6 foot tall bookcase, just lifted it with one hand and just carried it. I was fully prepared to be the second person, thinking, I'm sorry I'm so weak, and it's not somebody else as strong as you, but it's still easier carrying it with 2 people. But in this case, it was easier for him to just lift it up and move it. So he did a lot of the heavy lifting for me, but I still did plenty on my own. A lot of bending and lifting. But I've also been doing a lot of stretching too, and keeping up with my daily medications and supplements. That being number 1. And part of that is tanning. Walking to the tanning bed and tanning is part of my therapy that I'm taking. I just got a text saying it's nice out. It really is. But at that, I'm going to shut this off and head into Walmart to get Mom's Mother's Day present, which is a photo of her and my sister Christy here in my home. And I feel that if she could wake up every morning and see that, it'll tell her brain that she can do it again. I believe in that. I believe I can help her become active again. I have a good friend that even said a very powerful prayer for her last night. I was not expecting. He just randomly called and said, "The Lord told me to put it on my heart to call you and pray for you." And it was about my mother, so. I'm feeling so much better now that I smoothed out my hair. I didn't shampoo it today, or did I? I did. I did shower. I got up extra early today and showered and pulled my hair up into a ponytail, which is the way I feel I look the worst, but it gives my hair a rest from the blow dryer. And when I took it down today, I had all those weird bends, but just taking a hot curling iron and just smoothing it out, holding that angle. I feel so much happier with my hair on. I got my hair on. But at that, I'm going to shut this off and probably give it a watch. But I'm definitely going to go outside too. I can't pass up these nice days while I'm at home. I'll see you soon.